Okay, hello everyone. My name's Clarke Towson. I'm the CEO of INTJ Billing. In this video today, I'd like to just give a bit of an overview of what I've been doing for the past week on the Bitcoin Lightning Network. Having come from it, from the background as a high-performance computing specialist and coming into Bitcoin in 2017, and this week being the week where I've really spent a lot of solid time and effort specifically on the Lightning Network. So I'm going to be talking about things from a technology perspective as well as from a business perspective as well. So what you see on the right hand side of the screen is a spreadsheet that I've come up with. And the reason that I've done this is I've taken off my technologist hat for a moment and I put on my business hat. So people who know me know that I'm very technically capable, and for the majority of my life I've been involved in highly technical roles. My last being high performance computing, which I did for about 7 years. Now, because I run this company, INTJ Billing, I've also got to wear a business hat as well. And my last startup, I vowed never again to be in just the technologist role. I wanted to be in the business role because there was a lot of stuff going on from a business perspective that I didn't like, that I would have done differently, and so on. So with my own company, I have to wear both caps. Now, on the right-hand side, this spreadsheet, what I've tried to do, I've taken PayPal's merchant terms and I put them in this spreadsheet. And then next to them, I've put Bitcoin and Bitcoin Lightning Network terms, along with BTC Pay Server terms and Ride the Lightning terms. Now, remember, I've done this for about a week, solidly on the Lightning Network, where I've been seriously looking into it, doing a lot of testing, etc. That doesn't include the amount of time and effort that I dedicated to setting up my own unsensible computing infrastructure. Let's just put that aside for a moment. From a high level, I think that we've got firstly, it's very early days, okay? Secondly, I think that we've got a bit of a language problem in the Bitcoin space, because when I look at these PayPal terms, if I put my business hat on, PayPal merchant terms, we all know what a credit and debit card is: accepting payments, displaying QR codes, invoices, paying invoices, currency conversions, fraud detection, seller protection. There's a lot, shopping cart, PayPal sales history. Pretty much every term in that list, okay, this list here, pretty much every term I understand from a business perspective, I understand from a technical perspective. The majority of merchants out there who are using PayPal understand these terms, right? Now, most merchants, I would say, are doing it themselves, or they've got a person who's in technology and they give it to the tech guy to implement their PayPal payments for their business. But most small businesses can get their heads around these types of terms, right? They're pretty simple and easy to understand. Now let's have a look at the Bitcoin Lightning Network, okay? And let's go through a couple of terms, right? And with our business cap on, let's ask ourselves, how many business people out there, how many merchants, okay, how many merchants would understand these terms? Lightning liquidity, inbound and outbound liquidity, liquid funds, return channels, blockchain, lightning pool, ring of fire participants, peers and channels, opening a channel, outbound and inbound capacity, connection between two Lightning Network nodes, credits, local balance, remote balance, public and private keys, how to obtain outbound and inbound liquidity, on-chain balances, collaborating with other nodes, intermediate station, earning Satoshis as an intermediate station, swaps, websites, 1ml.com, BOS score list, terminal web, and BOS space. How many business people would understand what the hell I was talking about when I went through that list? Not many. Now let's go over and have a look at BTC Pay Server. Brilliant software. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Let's go through a couple of these terms. So server settings, stores, apps, wallets, payment requests, policies, C Lightning Spark server, ride the Lightning server, C Lightning REST, C Lightning Charge server, full node P2P, full node RPC, SSH, dynamic DNS, HTTP based Tor, Docker images, logs, plugins, hot wallets, hop hints, BIP21 payment URL, rates, price sources, currency pairs, payment methods, store ID, name, website, access tokens, legacy. I could continue going through this list, right? But again, we've got the same language problem. How many merchants are going to understand these terms? Let's go down to ride the Lightning. Routing, transactions, graph lookup, sign, verify, Satoshis, reports, node/fee rates, node configuration, QR code, node pub key, node URL 1, 2, copy node pub key, create invoice. Okay, business cap on. If I'm running this by a business person and a merchant, they're not going to know what the hell I'm talking about. They're just not. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a huge fan of Bitcoin. I'm an investor in Bitcoin. I'm a huge fan of the Lightning Network. I'm using it. I've set up my own BTC Pay server. It is brilliant. Okay, brilliant. I've sent payments. I'm helping merchants. I'm helping businesses that I'm associated with accept Lightning Network payments. But I just think what it shows is just how early we are, number one. Number two, how much of these terms, this complexity, needs to be completely abstracted away. So merchants don't have to spend a huge amount of time, effort, have a whole lot of technical expertise and so on to understand all this. Because at the moment, it's way too technical. It's way too difficult to understand. It is confusing. Even for someone like me, remember, my background is computer and mathematical science. I spent 21 years working in defense in highly technical roles. 7 of the last years I'd spent as a high-performance computing specialist, okay, involved in a very complex HPC project. And I've got to tell you, when I look through these lists, even as a technologist, these are difficult terms to understand. We people in the Bitcoin space who are working in this area, we really need to work on getting our terms and our language done in such a way that the vast majority of business people and people without technical expertise are able to understand what the hell we're talking about. Okay, this one, ring of fire participants. I mean, what the hell? What the hell is that? Okay, you know, this is the thing. Now on my Bitcoin Lightning Network node details page, okay, I put a video here which links to YouTube, and that's how I successfully got my BTC payment server operating and accepting Lightning Network payments. I made a bit of a video here about my future work in Thailand, but on this page I've tried to put some of the most important terms, okay, from the last week's work. You know, that my node name, public key of my node, URL of it, how much capacity I've got. What does that mean? All right, so I can process incoming Lightning Network transactions up to a total of about $17,000. Okay, and I'm able to do this because I have got enough inbound capacity. Okay, 21,000 Satoshis. Even that term is confusing for people, right? So yeah, I just if I go across to PayPal, right? So go to the PayPal website. So we've got a centralized provider here who is providing payment services to millions and millions of people all around the world. I think it was 341 million plus people. Okay, you look at their website, everything's easy to understand, etc. Now let's go across to my BTC Pay server instance. If I go into my server settings and I go to services and ride the lightning and click here, I go in here. So here's my ride the lightning server, Chile calendar, right? When I look at this, now I've spent a couple of days just working on this, just on ride the lightning. The first time I looked at this, I thought, what the hell is this and how the hell does this work? After using it for a couple of days, I'm very comfortable with the interface. I'm comfortable with how it all works. I'm comfortable working with it, okay? But when I look at it, I think to myself, it's got a nice template and I can change the look and feel of it, the colors and so forth. But I'm looking at it from two different perspectives. The first perspective I look at it from is as a technologist and building up the expertise to understand enough about the technology that I can implement my own BTC Pay server and ride the Lightning instance and accept Lightning Network payments. And the second is as a business person with a business cap on and as a merchant and looking at it thinking, I'm a merchant, I'm a business person. This is really difficult to understand. It's really difficult to navigate as a business person, as a technologist. I find it very logical, well thought out, etc. So I just think it's just such early days, right? It really is early days. Now, if I go back to my BTC Pay server instance, I'll go to a store. Let's go to the, Pride of Our Footscray Community Bar, who I do some work for, volunteer work for. So here's our store. Let's go to the pay button. Now, let's create a pay button for $5. Another beer for Clarke, we'll call this. Okay. Let's click on this button. Here's our invoice. Right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to my mobile phone, and it's on the video now. You can see my mobile phone where I've opened my wallet on my mobile phone. I've got a Phoenix network or Phoenix wallet. So I want to use the Bitcoin Lightning Network. Here's our invoice from BTC Pay. Another beer for Clarke. I'm shining my phone at the screen now, scanning in the invoice, and I've clicked to pay the $5. Okay, so that $5, there you go. It's worked brilliantly. It's worked. Returned to Pride's website. Fantastic, brilliant. Worked amazingly well, right? Wasn't that brilliant? To get to this stage, however, was a ton of time, effort, and work. I mean, let's think about this. So I had to set up my own BTC Pay server. To do that, I had to set up my own infrastructure here at home. So I needed expertise setting up my own server, installing Linux on it, installing a Linux virtual machine on that by using VirtualBox. I needed to understand enough about system administration and security and working with my ISP in order to get static IP addresses, making sure that my server is accessible from the internet. On this goes. It's been a lot of time, effort, expertise, work, and for someone like myself with a lot of time experience in technology, I was able to do it. Okay, but how many people have got 22 years experience in technology? How many people have got a computer and math science degree like I have, and have worked in extremely technically demanding fields like supercomputing. Okay? And this has been challenging for me to get all this set up. Okay, so a lot of this complexity, a lot of this language that we use needs to be really abstracted away. We've got to get things up to the point where it's just like PayPal in terms of how easy and simple it is to use. And we are years away from this, right? Years. Like looking at everything, I reckon we're a good 5 to 7 years away, and that's now in 2021, with making this stuff simple and easy enough to use that, you know, most merchants would be able to use it. So there's a lot of work to do. Now, I think that I can help in terms of this. I'm going to try to do as much as I can on my website and my YouTube channel to try to get all this stuff out there, my videos explaining how I see things from my perspective. But, you know, Bitcoin and the Lightning Network works. It is brilliant. It's fantastic. We've just got to get it easier to use and understand. Now, obviously with centralized systems like PayPal, okay, PayPal's got a lot of people working for them, and they're able to spend a lot of time and effort making things easy for people to use. Now, there's a lot of people in the Bitcoin space and the Lightning Network space, and people who have set up their own nodes and you know, using swaps and creating swaps on sites like Lightning Network Plus, people like myself and others. But even this, right? You know, what is a swap? How does this work? You know, how do I use this website? What is this these strange triangles that I see here? All right, so one's open for application, 4 million sats, view details, 2 or 3 space available. What is all this? I mean, I've spent a couple of days with this website. Fantastic, brilliant work, brilliant website. And I'm utilizing the services of this website. I'm participating in a number of swaps with other people. But it's very difficult for a newbie to go to this website and understand what the hell is going on, right? Right. So there needs to be some more, I guess, now in the BTC Pay Server documentation, which is great, and there's a lot of great videos out there, and I love BTC Pay Server. I've got a huge amount of respect for the developers for what they've put together here. It is brilliant, brilliant. But when I set this up, I got on-chain payments working fine. It was, you know, for me, it was easy getting all that working. The Lightning Network, however, that was more challenging. Okay, that was more challenging, getting everything working on Ride the Lightning and understanding all this stuff and how it works, etc. And I'll make some more videos in the future about to go into some more detail about how it all works. And I put up a video a couple of days ago on YouTube about BTC Pay Server and what happens if you get a error message when you're trying to send via the Lightning Network, how to fix that. And you know, the fix is, well, you've got to use Ride the Lightning and set it up in terms of having enough inbound liquidity for your node so that you can accept inbound payments and get outbound payments working as well. So, you know, it all comes back to inbound and outbound liquidity. Now, when I set up BTC Pay Server, I didn't know enough about this from the Lightning Network's perspective in order to get Lightning Network payments working. I do now, which is great, and that's why I'm putting together these videos so other merchants, other people out there who are looking to implement this technology can use my notes as a bit of a guide for themselves. All right. So yeah, that's just some thoughts on the matter. And that's pretty much it for me today. I might see if I can put together something more comprehensive about PayPal and Bitcoin and the Lightning Network, comparing and contrasting both, and you know, comparing what terms in PayPal are similar to terms in Bitcoin and the Bitcoin Lightning Network, right? And try to map the terms, perhaps. I think that would be particularly useful to business people and to merchants. All right, that's it from me today. I'm Clarke Towson, CEO of INTJ Billing. If you would like me to help you with the Bitcoin Lightning Network, with Bitcoin, getting up and running with as a merchant with Bitcoin and the Lightning Network, please go to my website, intjbilling.com. There's a specific page on the Lightning Network, which you can reach from the menu, and it's under here, Bitcoin Lightning Network. And just fill in this form. Let me know your name, email, phone number. Send me a quick message, and I'll be in contact with you, and I'll give you a hand with setting all this up for your business. The work that I'm specifically doing with BTC Pay Server and the Lightning Network is for the sex industry, because they need uncensorable payments. Now, I also provide this work. You may not need completely uncensorable payments. Your business might be a bar or a shop front, a simple merchant, and I also do that kind of work as well. But the reason that I chose the sex industry to focus on at the start was because that industry in particular has had the most problems with payments, right? Most problems with payments being blocked, censored, people being debanked, deplatformed, and so on. Now, there are laws in Australia, and in particular in Canberra, that makes it illegal to discriminate against someone on the basis of their profession. Now, these laws are being looked at for the rest of Australia as well. There's actually a case going on at the moment, an individual that I was in contact with, he was debanked, he had his payments blocked and so on. He was operating a Bitcoin exchange. And so I'm particularly attracted to working with people who have had problems with payments. So that's why I started with the sex industry first. But as I say, don't let that put you off that I'm doing this kind of work for that industry. There are many other industries out there that also need uncensorable payments. And my primary interest with Bitcoin is in its one of the most, if not most important properties, which is neutrality. Okay, Bitcoin's neutral to the sender, the recipient, and the value of the transaction, which means it gives every citizen, every user of Bitcoin, the ability to innovate in terms of financial instruments, payment systems, and banking. Now, there's an excellent talk on the topic of Bitcoin neutrality by the computer scientist Andreas Antonopoulos, which he made back in 2013. I highly recommend that you check it out at this link here. His perspective, he's able to explain things in that video better than what I am, but that's primarily my interest in helping people in the adult industry, because it enables me to talk more about Bitcoin neutrality and demonstrate Bitcoin neutrality as well. Okay, all the best, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.